Mark, what did you take out of that as a hit out?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty good. We're at the stage of the year where we wanted to have an internal trial before running around next Friday night, and the players are pre-seasons are long. Jules and the players just want to have a hit out, so we start with one against ourselves and tackle North and the Tigers next week.
I guess it's only natural after having the guys for 12 months, but it seemed today, compared to 12 months ago when we saw an intra-club, they've come a long way in the understanding of what you're trying to get them to do.
I think we had two sides playing the same way. We like to think, yes, that's the case, and you're right. We've all gone into this pre-season, far more informed about each other and the way that we want to play, and a better understanding from the coaching group about what certain players are capable of. So, that's what it needed to look like.
What was the thinking behind the stoppages? Where you just wanted to control certain parts of the game by playing on after goals and kick-outs after?
Craig and I were just out there just to make sure that we basically got to practice an even number of things. We wanted, and we felt the best way to do that was to be out there. Just little things like we wanted equal number of back 50 stoppages just to practice. There was no hidden meaning or anything like that. Yeah.
What did you think of Shannon Burns? Okay, it's only an intra-club, but bag 5, so nice little stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure the boys were ripping into him out there. Look, he played well, but you're right. It's February the 15th or whatever it is, but good start. I suppose it's better than playing poorly, but he's good. He's good. Shannon's been really good for us over summer with his leadership and the way that he trains, and for him to come out and then personally play pretty well, yeah, it's good.
I mean, that's the sort of way he plays. Like guys like that who can find the footy. Obviously, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Then. He might be short in stature, but in terms of volume, he's pretty loud, and that's good for our young players to hear and then to see the way that he moves. It was good.
David Roden was another one, Mark, that was pretty impressive. What's he brought to the group in terms of his experience? Yeah,
very similar to Shannon in terms of personality. I said at our AGM that they're like these two little mozzies that have been let loose in the change rooms, and that's great for our young kids. They've both been around for quite a while, both been involved, with grand finals and premierships, and so they bring that. And along with, say, Dawsey, and talking to those three, they weren't in the positions at their previous clubs where they had to openly share their knowledge, and that's just what it was. But coming here, I think there's been a realisation by all three of those players that they know a fair bit about what's going on, and our players are really relishing having guys like that around.
How far away are guys like Dawes, Clark, Tringo?
Clark and Trenners, so they're going through their rehab. We know that they've had both of them quite major injuries, and they're on track to be around, if not round one, in the early stages of the year. And Dawsey, he'll play next Friday night.
And how, just rested?
Yeah, same as Dawsey, yeah.
Have you changed the style of how you want the guys to play much this summer, or was it more just 12 months down the track, just redefining what you wanted to do from the start?
Yeah, more the second bit. Just another 12 months down the track. We're got a young group. We're a bit fitter, a little bit stronger, and a little bit more knowledge of how we want to play. So no change.
Jesse Hogan was one who played on James Frawley there. Good experience with a young fella, just turned 18 a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it is good, and we're obviously rapt to have Jesse at the footy club, and at times this year, individually or personally, he's going to get frustrated that we know he can't play league footy. But we had the same with Jack Viney last year, so we think it's a really good lead in, and I know the boys have spoken to the Suns about Jager O'Meara and how that look, and also the Crows with young Crouch. So there's some good examples around them. If you do the right thing and don't put too many expectations on them, it'll be a great year for learning for Jesse.
Will he play next week?
Yeah, he might. He's a chance. We've been given permission, again, just like those boys that I just mentioned, to play in the NAB Cup. So I think with Mitch Clark not playing, and Jesse will get a run at some stage.
Viney and Troopers look comfortable?
Yeah, again, they did, and that's good. And keep in mind that they've been training with those boys for 4 months, so they know them pretty well. Exactly the same as Jesse. No external pressure. That we just need to let them come in, adapt to being AFL players, and see how they go. And our plan is certainly not to play those boys every game, whether that be every NAB Cup game or every home and away game, because lots of information that we get, and one is the demands of the game that just increases every week, every season. So it's very unusual for an 18-year-old to come in and play the full season and impact every game. So we want to set them up to be, long time contributors for our footy club. We want to the expectation is that when they play they contribute, obviously, but we don't want to kill them early.
Do you expect Jack Watts to lock down that centre-half back position this year, or do you think you'll throw him between back and forward at times?
Yeah, I'm not sure. So we certainly haven't said that, okay, Jack, you'll be a defender for the whole year or the rest of your career. What he does give is he has got that flexibility. We know that Jack was drafted as a key forward. He's an interesting one, Jules. He's still only 21. He's played 50 games of league footy. So there's a few players that would be that age and that, I suppose, inexperience that may have locked down a role. But we're keen to see Jack, particularly early in that back half. He reads the game pretty well. As to whether or not that'll be his permanent position, I'm not so sure.
How many of the new young blokes are we likely to see next week, Mark? Dean Kent was another one who was impressive early today up forward.
Yeah, he was. Dean, that will give us something to think about. I thought he was pretty good.
He certainly didn't look out of place, certainly.
No, he's quite an aggressive young fellow. He's coming again not through he played WA Colts and from a place called Clackline in an hour and a half out of Perth or somewhere. So he's not coming through the traditional pathway, but he'll get a go, I'd say, over the next month. I don't know about next Friday, but we'll wait and see.
I think we're all waiting for this tanking investigation to be wrapped up, which I'm sure you are. The feeling seems to be the last couple of weeks that the club's going to escape penalty. Is that how you feel about it?
Look, I know you guys, and this is not meant as a criticism, the speculation that goes into investigations that are going on is not done internally, and it's not done. Coaches are the least, if you like, patient with the speculation. The way that we deal is give us all the information, and then we'll make an informed decision. Up until right now, our football club has not been informed what's going to happen. So I'd prefer, just to wait, let the investigation run its course, let the AFL give the finding and respond from there. Coaches are the worst at dealing with speculation.
Are you a bit sick of waiting though?
Oh no. Look, again, it is. The AFL have said it's an investigation. We'll let you know when it's on. I don't have to write the articles to fill the paper, so I'm okay.
Just slightly, emerged today is integrity officers for every club. Do you have a view on that as a sort of key stakeholder of your club? Would you like to see an integrity person put in at the club?
Again, I'd like to see the role description of what is meant by an integrity officer, what that person, he or she is actually responsible for. Clearly I'm going to respond and say something along the lines of, all football clubs, operate with integrity, and the industry is full of great people that work particularly hard and have achieved outstanding things, I'm not sure whether it be a risk management type of scenario, possibly, but again, that's about as much as I've got to say on that one.
You mentioned before, Mark, about the demands of the game when you were talking about the young players. Do you think we're pushing the players about as far as they can go for the moment? Sort of a broader argument about every club searching for an edge physically. Is there not much further we can push them?
There's always ways that you look to get better, and everything moves with the times, if you like, or everything moves with the year. I can remember when I played, everyone used to talk about, you've got to be fitter and you've got to be stronger. And we talk about that stuff too. So it's just a natural evolution, and a lot of the things that happen are reactions by coaching groups as to the new rules. So every time there's a rule made, we'll sit down and work out which way we can manipulate that to best suit our side. So the game, it just naturally evolves, each year.
And on those new rules, is there any in particular that you think the players are going to have more trouble than others in adjusting to? I think the slide-in rule was one that was brought up earlier in the week.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Again, when these rules come in, what all the coaches ask is just let it go for a while. Let's play it. Let's get some information. I'm not quite sure, how long before the AFL will call for some feedback. But normally they're pretty good at, just let half a dozen games or something and then call for feedback. And then we've got, I've got some data and some examples to work with.
Beautiful.
No worries, guys.
Thanks, Mark.
Cheers.
Thanks.